So here we go, an annual tradition apparently, Jason's podcast on this Masters Sunday here from uptown Minneapolis. And my brother Phil Iacovino joining me, his beautiful apartment here on the corner of, what, we're at about Franklin and Bryant here?
Hennepin and Franklin is what I tell people, but yeah. Technically, Bryant and Franklin.
By the way, the opening billboard music there from the Talking Heads, does that remind you of anything?
It doesn't, no. Maybe like an 80s montage, I don't know.
You and I, for a short period, back about, 12 years ago or so, did a show
That's right,
on
the
Cat
football
Country
show.
Called The Football Show, Saturday mornings. Was a lot of fun. It was short-lived. That was our opening billboard song for that show.
Oh, okay, so that's very
fitting. The Talking Heads. And by the way, that song is from a weird 80s movie called True Story, and in the movie and the music video, it's John Goodman doing karaoke to that song on stage. It's pretty weird. Phil, I don't know about you. This is, for me, the best day in sports in the calendar year.
You know, it's a toss-up as far as the best day in sports. I believe I said this last year when we did this first annual, I guess. It is my favorite Sunday of the year, bar none. I apologize. My favorite Sunday has nothing to do with any religious affiliation. Those are all great Sundays. This one tops my list. It is exciting. It creates drama unlike any other, and that's probably why it's a tradition unlike any other. So I'm excited to see how it plays out today. It's been a really good lead up to this Masters Sunday, and we got a lot of exciting things to see unfold today.
We're going to get to a lot of topics in this podcast. We'll talk about the start of the Twins season. The Wild have made the playoffs. We'll talk about that. Some other quick NFL nuggets, maybe talk a little Adrian Peterson. But obviously we're going to focus much on the Masters. And, as we're recording this, the leaders have yet to tee off here on Sunday. Jordan Spieth with a 4-shot lead has had a tremendous week. He's 16 under par through 3 rounds. He's got a 4-shot lead over Justin Rose. There's some big names chasing him. And Phil, including a guy named Phil, who had a big day yesterday, and I don't think anybody would be surprised if he chased down Jordan Spieth today.
You sent me a text yesterday that said the leaders are playing like they own the place. I happened to be on the golf course while I got that text and just kind of poked at the leaderboard, and of course, it was who I expected based off your text, Tiger and Phil. Going out there on a Saturday and showing why that for, the better part of 15 years, it was the Tiger and Phil show. And yesterday it seemed, take a look at Mickelson, his game, talk about Tiger's game being, lost and really nothing going on the entire season. Where has Lefty been all season? Something about that drive down Magnolia Lane, get him, 1 or 2 under by Friday or by the end of the day on Friday. Went out yesterday, had a magnificent round, and got himself right there. Unfortunately, he did end up bogeying the 18th, which kept him out of... he parred the 18th.
No, he parred it. He had a makeable birdie, though.
He bogeyed 17, which would have got him in the final group. But he did have a makeable birdie on 18. I know he would have loved to stare down Spieth in that final group. But there'll be plenty of roars out there, and I'm looking forward to hopefully Phil leading the charge on some of those.
That 18th hole was very pivotal yesterday because a lot of these guys who were playing well throughout the day, big names like Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods and Dustin Johnson, who was in the mix, they all bogeyed 18. Okay, and then Phil had the makeable birdie, which at the time, Spieth is 18 under, hadn't had his double on 17
That's
yet,
right.
But at the time it would have got Phil to 12 under. He misses that putt. Now Spieth doubles 17 to get back to 16 under, but then 18 ended up being a huge hole even after the Tiger, McIlroy, Mickelson deal, because you had Justin Rose make an incredible birdie putt to get him in the final group with Jordan Spieth, and I think that's huge because I think if it's Mickelson Spieth, that puts a little more pressure on Jordan Spieth, and we'll talk about him in a second. But to have a big stud like that, and to go up against you in the final pairing, it would be a little more intimidating, I would think, than Justin Rose. But then Spieth himself hit his second shot at 18 well into the wide right, into the gallery on the other side of the bunker, made an incredible up and down for par, and this is after he had his little meltdown on 17. And I think the combination of these challengers bogeying 18, and in the case of Mickelson missing that putt for birdie on 18, and Spieth finding a way to save par, now he's got a 10-shot lead over Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods. He's got a 5-shot lead over Phil Mickelson. That was a key final hole.
Well, I want to get to Spieth a little later. A couple final thoughts here on Phil, and with Tiger and Rory being 10 back, really it's a 4-man race, maybe a 3-man if you don't want to cut Charlie Hoffman in the.
No one's talking about him. He played well again yesterday.
But I will say this about Phil. He kind of has this nice guy persona, and everybody seems to like him. I fall into that group. Look, he's a competitor. He wants to look these kids down in the eye and say, yeah, I'm 44 years old, going to be 45 in June, but guess what? You got to get me, Yeah. And I think call it intimidation. I know that's kind of weird in golf. Usually you only refer to Tiger circa 10 years ago when it came to intimidation, but there's a certain amount of, I want him to do it in front of me while I'm putting birdie after birdie on, or at least putting the pressure on, and he'll have to be able to do that now from one group ahead. So, yeah, that was 18 turned out to be in Spieth's favor, I would say.
What I love about this Phil Iacovino is I think a 65 is available today at Augusta, and 1 over par is available today. So even though Spieth has the big lead, I think a lot could happen, especially with Spieth, being in that final group and these guys who have been there before up ahead with, I would say, less pressure, less, more of a I've got nothing to lose mentality. You could go low again today, and I think Jordan Spieth, he did what he had to do yesterday. I thought he would shoot even. He ended up shooting 2 under. But I think that even though he's got a big lead, a low number could be shot today.
Let me ask you this. In 2011, there was another 21-year-old kid who had a comfortable lead at the Masters.
10th hole didn't go so well.
Now, I'm not comparing, but do you see how the week worked out for Rory, building up to the Sunday?
Golf takes no prisoners, Phil. It's absolutely possible. That's why I'm saying that par that Spieth made yesterday on 18, in my mind, was so huge because I don't know if you saw it, but what he did on 17 was a meltdown.
That was a chunk.
He has the second shot that's well short of the green. He got off the tee in trouble, gets the second shot well short of the green, hits a chip like you or I would, and then 3 putts, misses a 4.5-footer for bogey to make a double. At that point, here's a kid who had dominated this golf course through whatever it was, 52 holes up to that point.
Of domination. Yeah.
18 under par.
Birdied 16.
Yeah, 18 under par, and now he makes a double bogey, and then has to fight off demons. Hits a perfect drive on 18, and just blocks out that second shot to a mile away from the green, and for him to make up and down. You're going to have rough stretches. Every golfer is, but you ask me, could he melt down today? Absolutely, he could. He's going to be.
Do you see any? As far I don't know. I guess I didn't see it coming for Rory until 10 when that thing went to wherever maybe they haven't found it yet. I don't know. His ball on 10, but
nothing like that.
You don't see. Do you see that kind of a?
No.
Do you see an 80 out of him today?
An 80? No. I think if he shoots 1 under, he wins.
Okay, I think even par gets him a win.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe a playoff.
Maybe a playoff. Mickelson's only 5 back. I'm telling you, there's a low score.
Mickelson's best round on a Sunday at Augusta, he's had 21 of them, I believe, is a 67.
What do you think Jordan Spieth shoots today?
I think he shoots 71 and he wins by 3.
Wow. All right. Well, if he shoots 71, I think he'll win. I don't know that he'll win by 3. Let me ask you this: what is the % chance that Tiger Woods wins the 2015 Masters?
Well, you'd need.
He's 10 back.
You need. Okay, first of all, you need Tiger to go 62, 63, which is the best round.
I don't think you need.
Which is the best round in a major ever recorded.
Phil, I think 64 could get him in the mix. That's 8 under. That gets him. That
gets him to 14.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, then you're looking at somebody. Then you're looking at 4. Then you're looking at 3 of the best players on the planet having to have to blow up in the same day in the same round.
All right, so you're putting it at less than 3%.
I'm putting it less than 3%. Yeah, he needs to shoot 63, and he needs help.
But he's played well this week.
Out of the gates, he looked mediocre at best. He's progressed very well. His short game was never an issue. It saved him a lot of the time on day 1 where he shot that 73. And then day 2 he went out, nice little, I think he was 3 under. And then yesterday could have been a really special round, kind of had to right the ship a little bit there on the back 9, only shooting 36 when he came out firing with a 32. But hey, if you were in the camp of, Tiger is going to be done and he's not going to find his game anymore and where's his confidence, I know it's Augusta, I know he finds it here, but, here he is, top 5 in this tournament where, some people would have said making the cut would have been a success.
Yep, I'm not surprised that he's played well. I think it's great. It's just I am very surprised by the way that Jordan Spieth has owned this golf tournament and, is putting himself in a position where a guy who's 6 under, with the history of a Tiger Woods on Sunday is virtually out of the tournament, like you say.
Now, this getting a little past Sunday, we can talk about that later, but do you think Tiger's going to win at all this year with what you've seen this week?
Boy, good question. We'll chat more about it. Part 2 coming up. Jason's podcast, krforadio.com.